Hello, I'm really excited for this video because I'm going to be discussing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. This book is really special to me because this is like the first book that I actually fell in love with. Um, I remember this book is like literally the first book that I ever truly enjoyed reading. It wasn't for like school or anything. I just really enjoyed reading it. And this was, I think, when I was like 9, 10 years old, such a long time ago. And I just reread it, and there's just so much nostalgia to it. Like, I just remember reading parts and being like, oh my God, it's so exciting about the how scientific it is because Jules Verne, he did like a lot of research into it. Um, so let me just give you a little summary about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. First, the author, Jules Verne, like I said, it was published in 1870. Genre is science fiction adventure. It takes place mostly underwater aboard the submarine, the Nautilus. The main characters are Captain Nemo, who's this mysterious, enigmatic captain of the Nautilus, tall, dark, handsome kind of guy. Not dark, more light skinned, but then there's Professor Pierre Aronnaud, who's like the narrator. He's a French marine biologist, and it's actually interesting because I realized later that my French name in like French class was Pierre. So, and that was in middle school after reading this. So I wonder if that was like from that. I had never really put those together. Then there's Conseil. I believe that's how you pronounce it. That's Aronnaud's loyal servant. And then there's a guy, Ned Land, who is a Canadian whaler and harpooner. And those three characters, the bottom three, the last three that I mentioned, are really funny personality because Ned Land is like very aggressive and really in your face. And then Conseil is very like calm and collected. And then Professor Pierre Aronnaud is kind of like in the middle. He's like a mix of calm, aggressive. So they're very interesting. Um, Little plot summary. So Professor Aronnaud, his servant Conseil, and Ned Land are captured by Captain Nemo after their ship is destroyed. The ship, it was actually trying to find um, the Nautilus. So they explore the underwater world in the Nautilus, um, discovering lost cities, giant squids, and the mysteries of the deep sea. They encounter various marine life and visit numerous undersea locations, including the ruins of Atlantis. Um, and the crew faces several perils, and eventually, Aruna, Conseil, and Land escape. Um, so what I remember liking about it when I was a kid is just the scientific nature about it. When you're reading about it, it definitely gets like a little bit nerdy. It even says like the longitude, latitude things. Jules Verne is quite an enigma. He is the pioneer of science fiction in a way, one of the fathers of science fiction alongside H.G. Wells. And many of Verne's speculative technologies, such as submarines, space travel, they were quite ahead of his time, but they became reality. So, in some ways, it was one of the motivating factors for me to write my book, ACO, which just released a video before on the channel. ACO, what happens when astrophysics and AI drink some Merlot and get it on? Um, and one of the things that I tried to do with the book is to kind of give like a realistic perspective of where things are going to go, and I think that's partially influenced by Jules Verne. Verne is one of the most translated authors in the world, with his works available in over 140 languages. Verne was an avid traveler, which inspired his detailed and imagined descriptions. Um, some interesting factoids that you probably don't know, even if you've heard of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. First, the submarine Nautilus was named after Robert Fulton's real life submarine and has inspired real life submarines and ships. The scientific accuracy of the book. Verne details descriptions of marine biology and underwater technology that were based on the best scientific knowledge of his time. Jules Verne used to hit the library late, burning the midnight oil. And that's what I did as well when I wrote my book. Not to toot my own horn, but I did a lot of research into astrophysics and AI and all that kind of stuff. Literary impact. So 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea has been adapted into numerous films, TV shows, other media, and influenced generations of science fiction writers and creators, including this guy. Themes. So the book explores the themes of freedom and confinement. You know, the three main characters, um, Professor Pierre Arnaud, Conseil, and Ned Land, are literally prisoners on the Nautilus. And so despite the beautiful journey and everything they're seeing, they're still prisoners. Um, let's see. Next. Okay. So 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is actually how the distance that they traveled and not the depth. Like it sounds like under the sea. So it sounds like underneath the submarine, there's 20,000 leagues. That's not. It's how far they've traveled. Inspiration for Captain Nemo's character was partially by real life explorers and political figures who rebelled against the colonial powers of the time. They kind of have like Captain Nemo kind of has like an Elon Musk type of like, I need to get away and go on to Mars, and the world is ending, and very critical. So very interesting. There is technically a sequel to the book, and Captain Nemo appears in it. It's called The Mysterious Island. And I read this years later. So I might make a video about this book as well. Because it's a great read too. Especially if you liked 20,000 Leagues. Oh my God, it's wonderful. Um, Finally, culture references. The book has had a lasting impact on popular culture, inspiring everything from theme park rides to references in music and literature. This book is one of the top books of all time, um, overall. But for me personally, it's amazing because it's the book that I fell in love with reading for the first time. And whenever I think of my love for reading and being in a book club and having a book club channel, it all comes back to this guy. And this is, I think, this is actually a physical book that I read. Yeah, 1993. Copyright. 1993, yo. I read this like a few years later, 1996. So, would love to hear in the comments what book that you fell in love with first as a kid or as an adult maybe, and why you fell in love with it. And let's spread that falling in love with book shtick. All right, peace.